Yeah. When's mine coming out?
Throughout my whole career, I've always admired Toronto from a distance. Being from Toronto, there's a lot more pride for me than it would be maybe for any other player on this team. And with that being said, I just want to give my all, continue to work hard, and lead by example.
There's only so many great things I can say about Big Cat, and that's my man.
He's a big guy, big personality, in Toronto, from Toronto.
He's got a big heart. He cares. He loves. He's got soul.
He's one of my favorite people I've ever been around.
What you see is what you get.
Well, I spent a lot of time in North York up until obviously grade 9, and then I went to Wexford Collegiate and spent a lot of time in Scarborough. I presently live in Scarborough. It's been a lot of good and a lot of bad. It's a neighborhood that's very diverse. It's our biggest borough in Toronto. We have the most people, and there's always something going on. That's why I kind of love it so much, is the fact that there's always something to do.
Basketball is like just part of our lifestyle, and you can ask anyone in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, probably still today, they have shorts underneath their pants. So they are ready to go at any time. There's courts all over Scarborough, you know, just the Scarborough YMCA just there. There's Good Lad at Kennedy and Eglinton. Those are some big courts, and we were just always ready to play.
It was a sport that people that didn't have much money could still enjoy and be a part of. You know, hockey wasn't for me. I couldn't really afford any of that stuff, the padding, the equipment. So naturally, basketball, I kind of gravitated to that. Plus, I was growing at a fast rate. And once I started playing basketball, I couldn't put it down. I just wanted to continue to get better and hopefully be in the position that I'm in, that I could help my family and by doing something that I love. So basketball was well fitting for me.
Yeah, I definitely knew of Big Cat. He went to Eastern Commerce. I went to Central Commerce. So, you know, I also knew a lot of guys who went to Eastern Commerce. So, you know, his name rang a lot of bells just throughout the Toronto high school basketball scene. Yeah, I definitely knew about him, man. He was a killer. He was a big guy. Ended up, like, you know, help paving the way for a lot of guys, just making your name be built out of Toronto high school basketball.
You know, my main objective my whole life was, you know, playing in the NBA, even though I was coming from Canada and it was a little bit more challenging to get that notoriety, that exposure. There was just something inside of me that wouldn't take no for an answer, and I continued to push and push. And if it meant, you know, going to a school farther away or out of my district in order to hone my skills, I had no problem doing that. I went to ABCD camp as a junior in high school, and then a lot of, or if not all, the schools were there watching us play. Did pretty well at that camp, and then started being recruited by schools.
Well, Jamaal was a great player. I mean, I tried recruiting him at Niagara when I was the head coach there, and you know, that was like an untouchable guy. He was that good.
You know, I didn't know anything about Kentucky. The only reason why I went to Kentucky is because of Rick Pitino. He was a head coach for the New York Knicks, and I figured he would probably be the best person to put me in a position to play in the NBA, being a former head coach of an NBA team.
When people like Rick Pitino come to Canada to recruit you, it says something about your skill level and your potential and where you could be going.
I remember sitting at the Nike All-American camp with Rick Pitino. So he's there watching Jamaal. I was hoping I could recruit Jamaal, but you know, it was a whole different level. I'm looking at other guys.
From day one, I mean, I was recruited by schools close to home, Syracuse, and schools in New York, St. John's, where I could have drove home on the weekends. But they didn't have a former NBA head coach. So that was basically the premise why I went down there.
With the 19th pick in the 2000 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Jamaal Magloire from the University of Kentucky.
Magloire from Nashburn. The Kentucky combination works. Magloire finishes at the foul. A big block there by Jamaal Magloire. Head for Lee Naylock. He'll lay it off, but the jam by Magloire.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Your fella.
Jamal Magloire over everybody. Stolen by P.J. Brown and Jamaal Magloire with the dunk. And wow, a 360 to boot.
When I was in the NBA as a rookie, P.J. Brown was one of my mentors, one of my teammates. And, being a Kentucky Wildcat, they started calling me Big Cat.
Big Cat. He flushed it.
What a finish over the rim.
Big Cat Magloire will man the post.
What I remember about Jamaal was, if he got a foot in the paint, unstoppable. He was so patient, so strong, so good at reading. If you're on his high side to counter, if you're on the low side, go to the middle. A very, very complete player.
Rookie no longer. Jamaal Magloire has been a huge factor in this game.
There's only a few guys that I think I don't want to mess with. Shaq is the guy that's on that list, but so is Jamaal Magloire. He's a guy you don't want to mess with.
Jamaal was a tough player, man. He had that attitude, the guy who played you hard all the time.
Hey, now to Magloire at the rim, and he lays it up. No! Rebound fought for Magloire, gets it back, and ducks it home.
He brought a toughness, a rebound, play defense. He's a guy who can score inside, and he was a skilled guy.
Right, looking to break down Hughes. Hooks a feed, and Magloire with the slam.
No!
First couple years I played against Big Cat. I think he was in Miami at that time. So got a chance to play against him. He's the same exact person as he was then. Crazy.
Magloire with a block. Jason Smith denied again. And missing on his third try.
Wow.
Now to Chalmers, little dribble move inside, tough shot. It won't go, tipped up, and it won't go again. There's Magloire up with it, and got it and fouled. Big Cat powering it home.
Fantastic player and a fantastic guy, and always been really nice to me. But deep down inside, he's real tough.
He was a guy that, helped carve the way for a lot of guys because he became a household name. And when he became an all-star in the Eastern Conference that one year, it was like a Canadian is now an all-star. This is pretty cool.
From what I can recall, he's the first, black Canadian to be an all-star.
We have been counting down all week to this very hour, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday in Los Angeles, and the 2004 NBA All-Star Game is right around the corner.
From the New Orleans Hornets, making his first All-Star appearance, 6'11" center, Jamaal Magloire.
I was, an NBA All-Star in year 4, which again was one of the great accomplishments I feel that I've had in my career. Might have been the first or second Canadian to be an NBA All-Star at that time, if not the first. To be one of 3 guys in the NBA at that time was definitely a great feat and a great feeling for me.
Davis with Magloire. A couple of Hornets get together. Magloire trying to squeeze his way through, and does. And Jamaal Magloire, folks, is the high man of this first half. He has 12 points.
The year he went to the All-Star game, I swear he won the MVP.
I thought Jamaal Magloire could have been the MVP of the All-Star game.
You were just informing me that he did not win the MVP, so I'm just going to call him the real MVP of the All-Star game.
Magloire able to put it down, and the East now leads 42-38.
And he was a big part of that era with Canadian kids, international kids watching him play in the All-Star game, be a first-round pick, make noise on a team with, Baron Davis, and he was a big part of that. So he helped usher in that era, and it told Canadian kids, the same way Steve Nash did, that, hey man, I might be able to do this. And just look at what we've had following.
Barrett on the drive, goes inside, he throws it down.
say that I'm one of few. I think I'm responsible for them, giving them hope, giving them a sense of worth, a sense that they know that they belong as well.
So Magloire dribble handoff to Jack, through the lane right to left, a wraparound feed.
Something you'd only see in slow motion. Watch the left hand. I can do it with my eyes closed. It's so easy. I don't even have to look.
There were Canadians in the NBA even before me that I pay homage to. There was Rick Fox, there was Mike Smeck, Leo Rautins, and these guys paved the way for me. And I feel like I've paved the way for some as well, especially the ones that are in the GTA area.
He was the first, and that carries a lot of weight for us here. He was sort of a pioneer for the sport in Canada. He's a great role model for some of these younger players. He really speaks very highly of the game, and I think he's helped a lot of these young kids as they've gone through the ranks.
I'm very happy and proud to announce that Toronto will become a member of the NBA for the 1995-96 season.
I was fascinated with us having a team, having two teams, Canadian teams at that time, Vancouver and Toronto. I always wanted to be a part of the organization. I would admire them from afar because there was just a different sense of value, a different sense of worth. I had an offer to return back to Miami. We lost in the NBA Finals to Dallas. That summer, I had Miami and Toronto that were interested in having me be there.
Magloire, hopefully in a Canadian uniform, off season.
I felt like at that time I wouldn't have an opportunity to play in Toronto again. This was like my final shot.
Big Cat, he makes all the difference. If we didn't have him here, we'd be in trouble, right? As far as talking and physicalness and that type of thing. Yeah.
James Johnson on the inside to the Big Cat. James Johnson, the facilitator, and the Big Cat with a big finish.
You know, being able to be on the hometown team, representing my city, representing my friends and family. So even though I was drafted, 19th in the first round to Charlotte, Toronto, I think, was the 21st pick. And I'm not sure what would have happened then if I didn't get picked at 19, but it was definitely a thought in my mind that, I wanted to come back home and play.
The Big Cat with a big finish.
I'm very excited. This is one place I would like to finish my career. I've been on 6 or 7 teams now, and throughout my whole career, I've always admired Toronto from a distance. Being from Toronto, there's a lot more pride for me than it would be maybe for any other player on this team. And with that being said, I just want to give my all, continue to work hard, and lead by example.
The Grandmaster, boy. You're in the right room. This is one of my good friends, Sean Marshall. We've been kicking it for a long time. He's opened his shop now, probably 7 years ago, in and around there. And it's great. It's a nice little quiet space for me.
I feel like I knew Jamaal a lot longer than he knew me. His dad used to bring him to another shop that I used to work at. And it's family on. And he got older and started hanging around with the shop where I used to work, another shop. And we just ended up becoming good friends.
You see there's a lot of guys outside next door, and we're all pretty hospitable with one another. It just goes back to how diverse our country is, right? We have so many different races, ethnicities that all get along. I think next door is an Italian sports club. Beside it, there's a Trinidadian guy that tints windows. Beside him, there's a Middle Eastern mechanic, and we're all friends. And for that, I think it's made me be able to work and integrate with so many different peoples from so many different walks of life. So kudos to Toronto again for being the way they are. This is kind of like my little home away from home. I mean, this is probably every jersey I've played in the NBA, and I even see one in college. So you got a good idea of how many teams I've played for. It's been a lot in 12 years, but each one of them have a personal experience or experiences that I've had. Jose was my buddy. He was a vet as well. That is one of the best Raptors of all time, in my opinion. To be able to play for my hometown and also to coach and win is just, it's unbelievable. That's right.
You're a big cat.
Somebody's in trouble today. I feel regal today. Being able to be a coach and contribute in different ways was just as important to me. To pass on the knowledge that I had, the experiences I've had. I've just finished playing with the big three and Chris Bosh, LeBron James, and Dwayne Wade. There's a lot that I could see and that I could teach and instill in some of the young guys that we had. And I just wanted to continue basketball at whatever capacity. Like, it didn't have to be as an assistant coach. It could have been in management. It could have been in broadcasting. I just wanted to be a part of it, and to be in this organization at that time with Colangelo and now, the great Masai. I really made the right decision, and I hope I could say that I'm a part of something special, which I know I am in, for sure. Come give your boy some love, man. Calling me over here like that, come on now. Give your boy some love. You doing all right?
That's how I show love.
I know.
I coached him as a player in New Jersey and worked with him then. We used to work out on the court, but we also used to run on the treadmill together. And he's one of my favorite people I've ever been around. He brings an incredible spirit to the game, to practices. He brings an incredible amount of energy. He has NBA size, so he's a great asset to us as far as creating game-like scenarios.
Yes. Strong, man. Damn.
But I love Big Cat though, because he's not changing. He's gonna be who he is. He's good for us, as far as from a physical standpoint. Always talking to us, always giving his knowledge. Passing the game forward to all the young guys. Which is what I set out to do. Continue to pass the game forward, pass the knowledge, and make sure that we're building character. We're building really good basketball players, and we're helping guys get better each and every day.
Screen, no roller, no roller. I'm back. No! 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 Show me, Ron. No!
Hey, damn.
There it is. That's the beginning. Hey! Good. My house, my rules.
When he steps on the court, you know he's in the gym. He's loud, enthusiasm, talks, communicates. He kind of just, pushes us. I love when he's on the court, when we do drills and things like that, he's always protecting the rim. He's always going to say he never fouls, but he fouls a lot. I hope he hears this. But, he helps me, finish through contact at the rim, make sure nothing's easy for us. So, I love when, he's in our workouts helping us just become better basketball players.
Word!
From the beginning to the end, obviously, when I first started, he helped me a lot just to keep my emotion, being able to go the next day and work hard. And also, like I said, he's talking about a lot about his career and the stuff that he had to go through. So I really relate to him in a lot of places.
5 in a row, Christian. 5 in a row. Time to get better, brother. It's my house, my rules.
You are weak.
Big Cat he's amazing. He's an amazing person. Be around the team with that energy every single day is just a huge motivation.
I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you.
He a guy who was all-star in this league, a guy who played, 14 years in this league, played for a bunch of teams, go to the finals. For young guys, they probably don't know, but they should check the highlights and check who it is, and every advice he got is huge.
Very good. The most gratifying part of my job is seeing them do well, seeing them get big contracts, seeing them, how they came to us and seeing their development over the years. Like I remember going to Buffalo with our staff and working Pascal and Jakob out. And we ended up taking both of them. So I've seen them before they even came to us. And to see where Pascal is now, you could say that, yeah, like you've seen the development and you've been a part of that. So that is the most gratifying thing to me. And that's why I do what I do. Keep going.
Find out.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing, Precious. We got you, brother. That's all I care about, brother. Gotta get you paid. Work! Work! Work!
If the gym's quiet a lot, whatever, he'll come in there and be like, work! No matter what, that's what he says, that's his thing.
Work! 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 Work!
And he always said, walk with his, his deep voice, he's always, during the game, like when he talk, like on the bench, his big cat was talking and, he's always pushing people and I think that's amazing to have somebody like him on the bench, on the coaching staff.
He's always been that way. Even when he was a player, you could hear that voice all the way across the gym when he's talking his coverages, when he's, when he's calling out with the defensive coverages and all that.
When they hear that loud, boisterous voice that it's time to work, and the other teams hear it too, and they know that we mean business. So as unorthodox as it may or may not be, it's important to me. I have to be who I am, and again, I can't lose focus with what my job is, and that's to motivate these guys and to teach them and to get them better as basketball players. So one day they do have the same, if not better, accolades than I had, and to have the successes of winning championships.
Hey, yo, Big Cat. It's our music. Look at Big Cat.
I grew up going to West Scarborough Boys and Girls Club, and that's where I fell in love with the game. And that's the exact same club that he went to when he was a kid. And when I was there, Big Cat would come in every single summer with his family and make sure he took the time to talk to kids who happened to be me. Just words of motivation, inspiring, telling us to keep going. The one thing that I loved so much about his presence is that he just never forgot. And it was in the ways in which he would always show up. It was the ways in which, when he wasn't there, he was able to check in. So, you think about impact, it's just how dedicated he is to community. He really understands what it means to be so rooted in the people around him.
He's a proud Torontonian. He cares about the people, the community. I've been part of his Jamaal Magloire Foundation. I see what he does. I see how much he loves people and cares for people and what Toronto means to him and what people mean to him. And particularly people that have less.
You just know who he was because he was the only one. And that's how we looked at it. And coming from like an at-risk in the neighborhood that I came from, just like knowing that he was coming from one in the East End as well, like you know about those people and you tend to follow them. And as long as they're positive, which he has been, like you try to emulate some of the stuff he's done.
Well, Big Cat, he's always reaching out to us, the whole organization letting us know that he always has something coming up, whether it's like every month. So, he's always in his community giving back.
He's got a big heart. He cares, he loves. He's got soul. And I like people like that. What you see is what you get.
When I think about the accolades in which he was able to get throughout his career, it was almost just a byproduct of how much he was so passionate about the work he put in. You almost forget just how great of a person he was, professionally, and what he was able to do product-wise on the court because he was just so solid off of it with his technique and his dedication to the game.
It was the kickstart for more people trying to really think that they can get there. Obviously, he's one of the pioneers, paved the way. And I just think he's given a lot to this game. A lot of people know about him, and he's done that in the community still to this day. And I just think he's been instrumental in just basketball in Canada and its history in itself.
Jamaal's journey of being this kid from Scarborough, and obviously we have a big basketball culture, but we never saw anyone get to that level. So for him, from Wexford to Eastern Commerce, and then playing with Kentucky, and then going into the NBA, like, we were super proud. We're still proud of Jamaal. I mean, he's a pioneer, and we got a huge generation of basketball coming up for years and years and years.
Kemba, you show me what's good. No one has passion like you. And that's worth capturing, right? This isn't just another city. This is my home.
Google Pixel 7, even better with Bell.